And I'm Melissa.
Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to do our Game Gear collection video.
Yes.
And this is a video that's been delayed in making because this isn't a very popular system and our collection isn't that large actually. But the Game Gear kind of has a special place in my heart because it is basically a portable Sega Master System. And even as a Sega fanboy back in 1989 or 90 or 91, whenever it was that the Game Gear came out, I remember thinking, there's no way this thing can compete with the Game Boy. The Game Boy had a lot of features going for it, like its price, Tetris, and the fact that it only used 2 AA batteries instead of 6. But I was always kind of interested in the Game Gear because of its ties to the Master System. But I didn't actually get one until many years later, in about 1998. After I got back into console gaming, after we had bought a Genesis, I saw this system sitting at a Toys R Us. I think I actually went out and sought out a Game Gear. And this is what they had sitting at a Toys R Us. And even at the time, I remember thinking, boy, this is sure an expensive system considering that it's pretty much on its death bed by 1998. And I wasn't that keen on this one because it's a sports system which comes with a baseball game, which I have no interest in video sports games. And it had a carrying case and all that stuff. That might have been, I might have been...
Did that kind of outweigh the sports game?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was something I desired or not, but this I think was like $70, which was expensive. But I wanted it because I also had the adapter, which we'll talk about in a minute, that lets me play Master System games on it. So for me, this truly was a portable Master System. And anyway, so this is my first unit, and then since that time, I got this one next. This is new. This is the Majesco re-release. This is just the core system, and it was $30, and I bought this in 2001. Actually, the weekend before we were married. I was living in Oregon, and I had flown back to Illinois for the wedding. And my brother and I were out, and we went to Toys R Us, and they had a $30 Game Gear
Got
there.
yourself a little wedding gift
there? I got myself a little. Well, in 2001, I mean, it was absurd, right?
Yeah.
But I always like to have a spare, so I grabbed a spare Game Gear, which is this a Majesco re-release. And then in 2013 at PRGE, I traded a Game Boy Advance SP 101. That's the backlit version for this with a bunch of games and a bunch of accessories with Luigifreakout. So, and I actually have one more Game Gear we bought at a garage sale that doesn't work, but I do have several. And I guess what I kind of wanted to do is just show you. There's some interesting things about these two. They both come with the same case. And this one I bought in 1998. And I just want to show you a couple of things that are in here. You can see the Game Gear system. This is how it came exactly in the box at retail. Here's the system. And then I've put in an AC adapter. I think this is the same AC adapter. No, this one's marked 1479. I can't remember if this is the one that is most like a Genesis Model 1 or Genesis Model 2. I think it's more like a Model 2. And then I got these things for $1. This doesn't work, but this is the hip battery pack. And I have 2 of these. But one thing I want to point out was that you'll notice in here it's got a shell for the hip battery pack, but there was also another battery pack that just kind of fastened to the back of the Game Gear as a thicker back. And you can see that this shell has a space for that also. And then finally here is this one is called the Master Gear Converter. And this may have come from the UK. It says UK design, but it is what I use to play Master System games on my Game Gear. And in fact, when I moved to Oregon for the first time, I brought my Game Gear, and my copy of Phantasy Star. And that's all I had for the first few weeks. I was living on my own. I didn't have any of my stuff yet. It hadn't been moved. But I did at least have Phantasy Star on the Game Gear. So the difference is, if you can open that one up, at some point later, this is what I got from Luigifreakout. And there's a couple of interesting things here. First of all, how does it fit? Oh yeah, I guess I've got it upside down.
Yeah.
But you'll notice that this one has space for the TV tuner. Flip that around, and you can see I've got a TV tuner on top, which no longer works. because we are now in the
digital.
U.S. at least in digital. So that doesn't work at all, but that's a nice thing to have. And then it's got the hip battery, and you'll notice
This one's
that
smaller.
it's got just the smaller case because they made room for the. This is the original. I'm certain that this is the older style case with the TV tuner and the original hip battery. And I've got the gear. I forget what this is called. The gear magnifier. You strap that to the screen.
Gear.
Super wide gear. You strap that to the system, and it makes the screen appear slightly larger. not great, but slightly larger. So that was neat to have from Luigi Freakout. And there's an AC adapter in there too. So kind of an interesting, change. They made a change to get rid of the TV tuner and then widen this out for the other battery pack. In addition to that, we got this, which I think is the coolest part of the kit I got from Luigi Freakout, and that is a Game Genie for the Game Gear. And it snaps right into the cartridge. It sits on the back, and it even has a little space here for the hint book. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that was neat, and I have the instructions for this and everything. So anyway, so that's the hardware, and so I've got quite a few Game Gears. I don't play them often. When I do play them, I play them on the AC adapter, which is why each of these has an AC adapter associated with it, because it just sucks up batteries. And by the way, I think all of my Game Gears have the battery cases, which apparently as a collector is the battery covers.
The covers?
That can be hard to find. But the Game Gears are also very finicky, and they have problems with their sound and their capacitors. And in fact, it's so well known a problem that there are capacitor kits for the Game Gear that you can buy to fix up your Game Gears. So I don't have that problem yet, except for the one that's broken. That's probably what's wrong with it. But so I do like having a couple of those around. So now let's talk about the games, and all of my games fit in here, which is nice because I mean the games are small, right?
Yeah.
They're physically small. So most of these games came with the trade from Luigi Freakout. So I'll mention the ones that I bought myself and the ones that I'm interested in, and maybe a couple of quirks about them. I don't know much about the Game Gear library. I know about the ones that are Master System related, but well, let's just go through it and see. So this one, boy, I can't remember. I think this came from Luigi Freakout. Whoops, you know what? We should just take it out of the case.
Yeah.
This is Aladdin. This was, I believe, also ported to the Master System in other regions, not the U.S. And of course, it's a Genesis game. So enjoy having that version on the Game Gear. Batman, another one, or Batman Forever, based on the movie, and whatever. I have no interest in this. I think it just came from Luigi Freakout. Bust a Move. This is the only one of two games I actually bought new and I have in box. And my brother actually bought this for me as a gift when it was on clearance at Toys R Us for a few dollars. This is a puzzle game, and I actually had this with me too when I moved to Oregon. So I remember playing quite a bit of Bust a Move and Phantasy Star. Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. Now this is interesting because this is actually the Sega Master System version, and it wasn't changed at all, I don't think, for the Game Gear. And the Game Gear just scales it down. It runs it in Master System mode and scales the screen down just as if it was running a Master System game. So this isn't really a Master System or a Game Gear game. I think it's the same as the Master System ROM, and the Game Gear just runs it in Master System mode. So no Game Gear enhancements. I haven't played it on the Game Gear. Columns. I bought this. I think I bought this myself at some convention in the last couple of years. It's one of the ones that I sought out as sort of a classic. Sorry, label damage. Classic game. Oh, what's this one called? Desert Speed Trap, starring Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. This came from the Luigi Freakout bundle. I don't know anything about it. All right, now moving on. Let's see here. Oh, Double Dragon. I can't remember if I bought this or if it was a Luigi Freakout bundle. It's Double Dragon, right? That's a pretty classic game at the time that the Game Gear was out. So glad to have that. Echo the Dolphin. Echo. Another classic Genesis game, Sega CD game from the time. So of course they ported it to the Game Gear. I don't have much interest in this series generally. But I have been buying them. I do have the Sega CD versions of both of these games and of Echo The Tides of Time. This is the second game in the series. So it's kind of neat to have both of those games on both the Sega CD and the Game Gear. And I may get the Genesis version. G-Lock. I can't remember. I think I might have bought this at a store near your brother.
Okay.
G-Lock. It's a aerial combat. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Genesis version of G-Lock. I'm not sure where I got that. Anyway, if I like a Genesis game and they made it for the Game Gear,
Then you get it.
I guess I focus on those for the Game Gear. James Pond 2, codename RoboCod. Another Luigi Freakout bundle that they just, they put together and it just happened to be in the bundle. Junction. I think this is a puzzle game. That tells you all I know about it. I'm not even sure what kind of game it is. So, don't really play these much. Jungle Book, another game that was a Genesis contemporary, and they made a version for the Game Gear. I believe there was also a Master System version of this, though it wasn't released in the US. And for what it's worth, the Game Gear and the Game Gear has slightly better hardware than the Master System. It has a deeper color palette, and it supports link play and a couple of other things. So it's not a straight conversion from Master System to Game Gear. There's more colors on the Game Gear. Land of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. Now this one I'm not sure if this is the Master. There is a port of this for the Master System, which I have, even though it wasn't released in the US. I think I do. I think I have this. And I'm not sure if this is just the straight up Master System ROM or if they changed it for the Game Gear. Castle of Illusion, I'm certain it's just the Master System ROM. This one I'm not sure about.
So did the Game Gear just try to compete by saying that it had color?
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, it had color. What else did they say about it? Oh, and it had a lit screen. It was color and it was lit.
Yeah.
It was front lit. Is that right? I can't remember. What I can say about it is that it actually uses a fluorescent tube, which is probably why it blows through batteries so quickly. I think there might be mods now people have done to use LEDs, which is much more power efficient. But the mod is somewhat complex, I think, because it was using fluorescent, which is a completely different, power type. So they have to do some tricky things. But it was lit and it had color. Yeah. And it might have been stereo too. I think the Game Gear has stereo sound. All right, The Lion King, another Genesis game that they made a Game Gear version of too. I'm not sure if these are even the same as the Genesis game. I merely mean that there was a similar title on the Genesis at the time, and Sega was just kind of putting out games on both systems for a while. The Majors Pro Baseball. This one and The Lion King were from the Luigi Freakout bundle. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, popular TV show in the US at the time. Another Luigi Freakout bundle. I have no idea what this is. My guess, side-scroller. I don't know though. Just a guess. Mortal Kombat. This is one I sought out. Just wanted to see Mortal Kombat. Of course, it's very popular at the time of the Game Gear. And wanted to see how this looked. And I think I got Mortal Kombat because along the way I had gotten Mortal Kombat 2 first, and I don't like
one
that.
without the other.
I like to have the first game in the series. So Mortal Kombat 2, not a bad translation, considering there's only 2 buttons on the Game Gear. Now this one I bought at PRGE, I think in the last 5 minutes of 2014's PRGE, and I knew the label looked funny, and I knew I recognized it. The problem is I recognized it from. I think it's a foreign release. It's not a North American release. The font and style of this suggests that it's from Europe, and the name is Outrun Europa, but that's a coincidence. I think this is a European label or release of this game. Not sure, but the label doesn't look like the North American release. All right, Primal Rage, another one, popular game at the time. I can't imagine that the Game Gear port is that good, but heck, they did it with Mortal Kombat, maybe Primal Rage.
Is there actually a good game?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that, because I just happened to pick up a good game Shinobi. This is one I sought out and bought. I have this. This is the other one I have complete in box. I think I bought this at the same time as my original Game Gear. But the Game Gear Shinobi games are actually quite good.
I've had that theme music in my head since we started this video.
Shinobi?
Yeah.
Well, you've probably had the Master System version of the Shinobi music. And I also have Shinobi 2.
Of course you do.
And I got this. I've only ever seen this game once. Now, I keep kind of looking out for it because it turns out this one has a little bit of label damage right here. And I didn't notice it. In the old days, you know, when Funko Land had them in the cases, it was kind of buried under something. And the art is, you know, fancy. And so I didn't notice that there was sort of this gash here. But I do have this, and I do have the manual now. I got that up here GE last year. So glad to finally get the manual for that. And I'd like to get a label upgrade for it, but I don't think I've ever seen the game again. Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog. Another one I went and sought out. Sonic, of course, was very popular at the time. And
To some people, yes.
to some people, yes. So I am trying to get the Sonic games for the Game Gear. And part of the reason I wanted Sonic, not just because it's Sonic, was because my kit came with Sonic 2. And so I can't have that, right? So here's Sonic 2 that came with the bundle. And I went out and bought Sonic 1. Or maybe it came with the Luigi Freakout thing. The point was that I was going to seek it out anyway. And then there's Sonic Chaos, which I don't think I got separately. I can't remember. Sonic Chaos, another one of the Sonic games for the Game Gear. Don't know much about this one yet. Coming to the end here. Streets of Rage. You've heard me say it before. Genesis. Bought the Game Gear version. I'd like to get Streets of Rage 2. I think I came across a Streets of Rage 2 and your brother snagged it.
Of course you do.
He has a Game Gear also. If you're going to have columns, you should also have super columns. Why not? Super columns, another puzzle game. Good. I love the puzzle games on the portables. Brilliant move by Nintendo putting Tetris in there.
Yeah.
Taz in Escape from Mars. Bundled with Luigi Freakout. No real interest in this game. And finally, in alphabetical order, the other game that came with my bundle, World Series Baseball 95. So, that's it. What are we looking at here? Approximately 30 Game Gear games.
30 Game Gear games.
I don't think I've spent a
And
lot
one-
of time with any of them.
It's pretty good.
I play Shinobi. That's the one I spent the most time with. Couldn't even get into Sonic 2, which I think is generally regarded as a pretty good game. And then I've played, you know, I played Master System Phantasy Star on it. I played Vigilante on it. You know, I don't know why I remember that, but I was practicing going through Vigilante on the Game Gear. And I played through Phantasy Star like my second or third playthrough on the Game Gear when I first moved. So,
When was the last time you pulled it out?
when I get new stuff and I test it. I do have it out and readily available in case I do want to pull it out. But, you know, I think, you know, Ramvox on Twitter was just asking about the Game Gear. And he was asking, well, is anybody really interested in this? And my answer was, no, it's not. I don't know that I enjoy playing it that much. I enjoy it as a portable Master System, but I never got into the Game Gear games themselves. They just weren't doing it for me, and the screen's a little fuzzy and a little washed out.
And it's bulky too.
It's kind of bulky, yeah. So it's a nice, you know, I like it. I'm glad I have it in my collection. It has its place for what I use it for. I do still there are still some Game Gear games out there that I'd like to get. But it's not something that I really play. It's more for collection purposes. And until 2013, from 1998 to 2013, I only had like 6 games. I had Bust-A-Move and Shinobi 1 and 2, Sonic World Series, and Mortal Kombat 2. I just had those 6 games. And it wasn't until I got that bundle from Luigi Freakout that I bought more, and then I bought a few more to fill in things. So yeah, so that's our Game Gear collection.
Yeah.
That's about it. So,
Okay.
thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe.